Before we jump into things, I wanted to take at least a second to talk about what it means to do science in persuasion. Right? I could just say this is all science and then it sounds fancy and official and you'll just believe me. But I want you to know what it means for us to have solid scientific evidence of things that are really persuasive. So let's imagine how a study might look. And here's how we're really going to be confident that a variable is a persuasive variable. Let's say you have a group of people and you need to persuade them that this brand of tissue paper is a good brand of tissue paper. Maybe that's exactly your goal. I have no idea. Probably not. But let's say that's your goal. Convince you that this brand is a good brand. In a study, what I would do is I would create one base message that I'll give to every single person who is in the study. Okay, so everyone is going to get at least something that's the same, but then I'll change one part of it depending on a group that the participant belongs to. Okay, so let's say there are 100 people that are going to get my message. When I'm doing the study, 50 people will get version A and 50 people will get version B. Okay, this is pretty standard stuff. But what's important is that all 100 people see basically exactly the same message except for the one thing I'm interested in testing. Okay, that's really important. Okay, because if we find a difference and everything is different between two groups of people, we don't know what the core difference is that was meaningful. Okay, so let's say I have 100 people. They all get my message that my brand of tissue paper is great. They get the same arguments, but all I do is in the beginning of the message, I say, oh, this message comes from an expert in tissue science, or I don't include anything like that. Okay, so one sentence is different for this 50 people and that 50 people. After they read the message, I might ask them, okay, what do you think of this brand? Do you like it or do you not like it? And all 100 people would rate how much they like this tissue paper brand, whatever it may be. So now what I have is how much people like the brand on average in the group that saw the expertise label, and how much people liked it on average in the group that didn't have the expertise label. This is where things get critical. I might compare those averages to each other, and hopefully one group average is higher than the other. Now, there's a bunch of statistics involved in this. It's not enough just to be higher at all. It has to be high enough that we're confident that there's a difference. But let's say that the expertise group rates the product higher than the non-expertise group. Now we know that expertise is a persuasive variable because that's the only reason why those averages would be different between this group of 50 and that group of 50, assuming we made sure everyone was randomly assigned to a condition. But it might be the case that there's no difference. And then we learn, oh wow, we thought expertise would be important, and it turns out that it's not at all. Crazier still is if it reverses. What if expertise makes it less persuasive? All of this is stuff we could only know if we did a really good experiment. And we have to do these experiments, otherwise we're going to waste a ton of money on persuasive messages that might end up not being that persuasive. And if we just ran a study to begin with, we'd have a better idea. So all of the stuff that I'm going to tell you in this course comes from experiments like that, where you carefully control single parts of a persuasive message to see whether they affect how persuaded people are. So you don't need to become a methodologist, you don't need to become a psychologist to understand this information, but I just thought that would be helpful to set the groundwork for why we can have confidence in the results that I'm going to use as the basis for the rest of this course. So thanks for putting up with that at least.